I'm just going to start out by saying that there's a good chance there's a clickbait title here. We're going to talk a little bit about clickbait titles this morning. Happy Labor Day weekend. Shoot. Now I'm trying to remember. I think you're not supposed to say Happy Labor Day weekend, or is that Memorial Day weekend? You can't say Happy Memorial Day. I'm not trying to be at all offensive, but I can't. What are we celebrating for Labor Day? Darn it. Well, this isn't how it's. Now it'll just probably bring on more critical comments, not live, but in the replay, and that's totally fine. Anyways, I won't talk anymore about Labor Day weekend then, but it's good to see you. Good to get us to spend a little bit of time with you this morning. I do want to take a few minutes to answer questions from the last 3 videos that I did, because there was a lot of really good questions and comments, but there were also some that were kind of like, why are you lying about things you only own one of? And I did not expect the hard boiling egg hack on the hacks video to be so controversial. So we'll talk about that, as well as donations and goodwill. Actually, just a lot of really good questions, and it's fun to get to circle back and answer some of them because I don't always get to. And any questions, I'd love to take your questions live as well. So good to see you. Oh, it's so fun to get to spend this time with you live. If you're in our Take Your House Back course or our mentorship group, then we go live all the time and get to visit and hang out and answer questions. But if not, then we don't get to do this so often. It's been a little while. So it's good to see you. I just will let you know ahead of time that later in the video, I am going to talk about our Labor Day sale for the Take Your House Back course, because it is just $84 through the end of the day on Monday, Labor Day. And so that is the cheapest, absolute cheapest we ever offer it. And if you are still needing to get your house decluttered and you have not taken Take Your House Back, I guarantee it will multiply your efforts. You'll be able to get your house decluttered much more quickly with Dana and Cass and I by your side, or your money back. We offer a 1-year money back guarantee because we believe in the course so much. Okay, well, it's really good to get to see you today. So the last few videos I've put out, let's see where to start. The things I own one of, that was okay, well, let me tell you something about this one. Okay, so the things I own one of, this is a video that Sarah Therese did. She had a channel on minimalism. It's still up, but she doesn't post to that one anymore. And she did this video 4 years ago, and as you can tell, it got 1 million views. Like, it does very well. I hate these types of videos. This video has been on my radar for a very long time. I've never done a things I only own one of video because I hate these types of videos. I actually, if you look back at the other ones too, I hate hacks videos. I don't like the things of like 36 things I don't buy as a minimalist. I don't like the clickbaity, just like sensationalized videos. And also, I know that they bring in new friends. And so when, like, YouTube will say there's 3 different types of videos that creators should make, and they are discoverable, then your core content, and then your community content. So discoverable are the things like things I only own one of, 48 things I quit buying, 36 things to declutter from your bathroom. For some reason, if there's a number in the title and it seems a little bit sensational, then people click on it, like, right? So those are the discoverable videos. I have one like coming up, like minimalist home tour. We haven't done an updated home tour in a while. Those types of things, they're intriguing, they're novel to people, right? And they get you out in front of people. I don't like making them. I don't like to be sensational, and I don't like doing clickbait titles or thumbnails, just so you know. But I also know that they work and they get a lot of views, and they do get us in front of new friends. Then you have your core content. These are my favorite videos to make. Here's the thing. I would just all day long declutter alongside of you and label the video like sentimental items, kitchen items, bathroom items, like bathroom declutter, kitchen declutter, clothing declutter, right? Like, I just want to be here to help you get your house decluttered, because me simplifying my home has like been the best thing that I have done, and it only keeps getting better the further I go, right? So now I feel like I'm getting kind of ranty and like defending myself, but I just want you to know, because this is what goes on with all creators, right? Of this like inner torment of Do I do clickbait? Do I get more views on it? Or do I just stay loyal to who I am and to my super fans? Because even those of you who are on right now, like, you are my besties, and you will say, Dawn, you don't have to be clickbait. Like, you don't have to do that, right? We will watch it no matter what. And I am so grateful for you, because you will. Like, you will watch it. You will watch it to the end. You will comment on it. You will like. I don't even have to ask you to like it, right? And I certainly don't have to ask you to subscribe, right? The only reason if you're not subscribed is just because it's like you watch us on your TV and you don't know how to do it from your TV, or you don't have a YouTube account. It's like your son's or something like that, right? But like, you are so cool. But also, I know, I'll show you this here. Like, the titles and the thumbnails make a big difference. So, oh, we'll come back to the questions on the things I only own one of and why people thought I was lying too on it. Um, so what's kind of interesting is in YouTube now, when we upload a video, you actually can test the thumbnails. So this was one I did a few weeks ago where Diana and I were working in an upstairs bedroom at my parents' house. And so I made 3 different thumbnails for that video, and then you test them. And so you can see the thumbnail that won, it's the one in the lower right corner, but you can see it here, like in the results too, is the one where we have like a shocked face, and I'm like, dumpster it all, like, like, it's dramatic. The one at the top, I'm not sure you can see it super well, like, it just shows a nice like before and after, right? Like, storage to guest room, but it does not perform as well. And even the one below where we're just a little more like smiling and looking normal, yuck to wow, like, that one didn't do as well either. And so unfortunately, this is what I feel like we're up against all the time of, do you like, how far do you go with the title and the thumbnail? So anyways, just so you know, like, some of the logic that goes on with this, here was another one that I did recently. I read all the books. So this one was more normal. This one wasn't like, so I wasn't making any like weird faces or anything. But again, you can see like upload 3 different thumbnails, and then it gives you data as to which one is the best, and then it runs with that one after it's done running the test. And so it's it's a game. I feel sometimes like we have to play. And like, is there an algorithm? Yes, but the algorithm is based on what people click on and watch. And so it's based on real human interaction. It's not like the algorithm is just picking it. It's basing it off of what people actually click on and watch. So, okay. So that's my caveat to all that. Let's talk though a little bit about the video. We'll talk about the things I own one of, and then we can go back also to that hacks video too and talk about hard-boiled eggs, because that was fascinating. Also, if you do have a question, I do want to save time to answer your questions live. So if you will hang on to it, we will definitely get to that as well. Okay, so things I own one of. Probably what I did not make clear at the beginning of this video based on the comments was, I don't own one of everything in my home. There's just certain things that I've decided to own one of. And my main point with this video was, let me go back here to this. Like, my main point, what I was trying to get through, and I don't know that I did it so clearly. And in hindsight, I think I could have done it even more clearly if I would have given more examples like this. What I was trying to get at is, we could own one of something like a lightweight jacket, or we could own 4. And when we do that in every single item in our house, if we have 4 instead of 1, that is how the inventory creeps up and gets to a point where it is unmanageable. And in every season, I didn't really explain this either, that for me, it changes from season to season, not like fall to spring, from like kids at these ages to working this type of job to caring for aging parents to going back to school. And I think some of the comments on this too that were like, we've seen other things in your house, like, what you probably have not witnessed is that in our membership group, where like we're just always decluttering together all the time, I have gone so much further with our house. So even things that you might see in past videos, this past summer, I have gone even further in our home because we are in such a busy season. And we keep our activities and everything pared down. And the things the kids are getting to do now, I'm genuinely glad for them to do them. I'm like, they have been picked, like, I want to do those things. So therefore, if I need to reduce the inventory in our home a little bit more, that is totally fine. I am willing to do that because it doesn't even feel like a sacrifice anymore, right? But this was my main point with this video is, is how the inventory creeps up is usually through duplicates. And this is why, as a minimalist, I don't feel like I'm going without or missing without, because I still have everything I need. Like if I had no coat and it's raining and cold out and I'm like walking out in a t-shirt, well, then that would be miserable, right? But I have a coat, do I have one for every possible occasion out there? No, but I'm never going cold. I'm never, and so that's why I don't feel like minimalism is at all sacrificial. And we each get to decide where that line is for ourselves. I love what Courtney Carver says. She says, minimalism isn't an exercise in, oh my goodness. In suffering. Minimalism is not an exercise in suffering, right? There's no point in getting to a point where we're like, grumbling because we're like, oh, I got rid of all my stuff and now I'm so crabby and annoyed with my house, right? Not the point at all. Okay. So again, I'm like having to like justify and give all these caveats before I answer the questions. Moving on to what actually came up in that video. Okay, so let's answer some of the questions that came up, because these are good questions and I saw them multiple times and that's why I wanted to pick them out. Okay, I'm curious about the kitchen. What happens if you have a dinner party? Good question. I saw this many different times. So what happens if you have people over? What if you entertain? So for the longest time, I called it a company bin, and I had a Rubbermaid and down in the basement that had extra Melmac dishes in it. So I had plates and bowls, and then we had some extra silverware in there too. And so the idea being that if we were having people over, I would go down and get that and I would bring it up. I used it like once or twice. And I think that was even like back in our like townhouse. It wasn't even, I don't even think it's in this house. So if we have company over, we use paper plates. I don't host fancy dinner parties. And if I were going to have something a little bit nicer and like where we're like, it would be nice to eat on real dishes, I would borrow them from my mom. I would borrow them from my sister, or you can also rent them too if you're going to have like a lot of extra people. But again, this is where it comes down to you. If you host 14 people every Sunday for lunch, like obviously you want to have more dishes. For us, they were not getting used. It had just gotten dusty in the basement, and I donated it with this last pass that I made through the basement. For now, for this season, I am totally fine with that. And I'm always asking myself, how hard would this be to replace? What if things settle down, we decide we want to start hosting a weekly, monthly gathering? Well, I actually believe I could go to a thrift store and come by something like this pretty easily. So that's why that was not a hard decision. So for us, we use paper. That might not be what's right for you, but that's what we do. There's also, let's see, company. I'm not clear on the logic of only having one dish bowl plate per person. You can only eat one meal and you're out of dishes. Yes, 1000%. This is why you can only eat one meal and you have to wash the dishes. It is literally impossible for us in our home right now to have a huge stack of dishes next to the sink. And I love that. It might not be what's right for you. Some people might want enough dishes to have 3 meals a day, maybe 2. I don't know, 6. I don't know, right? But for us, I have never, like full disclosure, I've never been able to get in the habit of running the dishwasher every single night until we highly simplified our dishes. It has to get run. It still sometimes doesn't. And then, anyone has to hand wash a dish, which actually is not that big of a deal. But I love this. So again, it works for us. It works for our season of life. It might not work for you, but most of us, unless you have been simplifying and decluttering for a while, have way more dishes, way more than you would need. And it really bugged me when people could just keep pulling more and more out of the cabinets without having to tend to the ones that they had already dirtied. So if you're a rock star at running your dishwasher and keeping up on dishes, and it's just not an issue for you, have as many dishes as you want. But if you've also had this problem of dishes not getting done, feeling overwhelmed by piled up messy dishes, or feeling like a loser in your own house because you just can't stay on top of the dishes, you could try packing some of these away like in a time will tell bin. Just test it out, do an experiment, and just see if it might be helpful in your house too. I really want to try and not get like too ranty on this. It's hard when I feel misunderstood, right? But anyways, you guys watching right now are probably not the ones that I feel misunderstood by. Um, Okay, here we go. How about your hoarding of decorative pillows? You could probably stand to get rid of 25 or so. There was another one too. How many pillows do you have? So again, I was not trying to say that I only have one of everything in that video. And I've explained before, I really enjoy throw pillows. I would rather have less shoes and less coats and less dishes and more throw pillows. I like that. It makes our home feel cozy. I don't mind picking them up. I don't mind taking care of them and fluffing them and arranging them and all that. I'm totally fine with it. You might hate throw pillows. I know many have said, like, I was tired of picking them up off the floor or having to protect them or whatever. So you just got rid of them. That's awesome. Right. And so I think that's what we're all learning is you get to pick the areas that you have more inventory in. But I want to, my whole point with this video, I did want it to have a little like shock and awe factor because I think most people have not even entertained the thought of only having one of this and one of that. And so I wanted to push people further, even if they don't go as far as what I as we have chosen to do. Okay, there's another one here. Let's see. Okay, I think I go to the next slide here. Um, okay, this was a good one. You guys, I can't get by with anything, and I really wasn't trying to. Where did people think I was lying? Nail polish. They're like, even in that video, you had two different colors of nail polish on, right? And so, yes, I have been getting my nails done. This is something I don't know. Diana got me into it. I don't even know, a year and a half ago. So I started out doing the gel nail polish, which was good. And but still, like when I would garden and stuff, because I'm not good about wearing gloves, like the corners would still break. Like my nails weren't holding up super well. And so then she was like, "You got to do dip. Like you got to do the dip." And I'm like, do you know how much they charge for that? And I try to stretch it like as far as I can. That's why I try to do like light colors. But in that video, I had some dark pink on. Um, and so I legit only own one color of nail polish. I just haven't been doing my own nails, and it's fun, right? We all get to choose that line for us. And I found myself doing things I would never do in the past, like getting my nails done. But now I kind of like it. And with the dip, my goodness, this holds up so well. So I'm budgeting for it every like 3, if I can stretch it out 4 weeks, and then I try to, right? You know, something else too, wearing like fake eyelashes. I would have never done that in the past, but I find on video, it just, my eyes show up better, right? Like I just feel a little bit better in it. And even when I get together with other YouTubers, they're talking about like their Botox and whatever. And I'm like, no, I got to draw the line somewhere. And now I'm like, oh, I made 42 here in a couple weeks. And I'm like, why? What is this going on here? Right. And so what I am learning in my old age now, my more mature age, I know I'm not that old, is that very few things are black and white, right? And saying I'll never do this and that, and this is bad and that's good. You shouldn't have that many throw pillows, whatever. That we actually each get to choose, and life is all about trade-offs, and we get to decide what the benefits and consequences are of anything we do, whether it's Botox or lashes or nails or whatnot. And so we get to decide that line for us. But yes, anyways, back to the nail polish. I do only own one color of nail polish, but I have been getting my nails done, so you might see the color change a little bit. Also, I was wearing a pair of shoes in there that I didn't put on the bench. I was wearing them when I was recording it and I totally forgot about them. So even that, I wasn't like trying to be like, dishonest about it. It was just like legit did not think about it. So, anyways, I love how observant like many of you are though in the videos. And then back to a more like serious question. Do you wash towels every day? How do you only have one washcloth per person? So yes, we do a load of laundry every day, sometimes two, depending on who's doing what outside and how dirty things are getting. And again, that works for us. We have a main floor laundry room. We've developed the habit. The kids help with the laundry. Even in the past, I was like, no hampers, no laundry baskets. Well, now the girls have a hamper in their room and they wash their clothes separately, right? So things change and they flex. But mostly, oh my goodness, if we will like really reduce the inventory, how much better does it make life and how much easier, right? So that was my point behind it. But yeah, anyways, I really wasn't trying to lie on any of those things. So okay, we'll move on from that. Okay, let me there was some also, oh yeah, the eggs. Okay. So the other video that was somewhat controversial, not really controversial, but yeah, a little bit, was me trying to figure out how to hard boil eggs in the air fryer, and so many comments of people saying like, "Dude, put a pan on the stove for 12 minutes, boil them, and like be done with it." But here's what is so interesting about that is just that, having to get out the pot. And then I'm always trying to remember, is the 12 minutes from when the water is boiling? Do you put them in after it's boiling, or do you put them in first and then whatnot, right? Getting out the pot, filling it with water, putting it on the stove. Our air fryer sits on the counter all the time. So for me to plop a dozen eggs in the air fryer, turn it on, walk away until it beeps, and then pull them out, whether you put them into an ice bath or not. Many of you said like, you don't have to do an ice bath, it's fine, or just put them in some cold water. Um, that feels easier. I don't have to wash the pot afterwards. The pot doesn't get super dirty, but like it's enough where you still have to like wipe it out, dry it out, put it back away. I don't like if I hard boil eggs in a air fryer, I'm not going to wash it afterwards. I know the instant pot makes boiled eggs perfectly, perfectly every single time. I don't like dragging out the instant pot. The air fryer is literally sitting on the counter all the time. So that's why I was trying to make it work. And I'm still going to keep testing it because that would make it so we would hard boil eggs more often. So that's why I was like so persistent. Also, though, so to answer that question of like, dude, why don't you just do it on the stove? But also, some of you had said too to try and peel the eggs underwater. So some of you said you take your pot of water, once they're done, you dump out the hot water, replace it with cold water in the pot, and then you actually peel them underwater and they're easier. And then also I saw a good comment too that said you have to like crack it all the way around and just even roll it just a little bit, and that will loosen up the peel. And then someone else said there's this contraption on Amazon too called the Neg, and you just put a little water in your egg and you shake it a few times, and then that's supposed to take the peel off too. And I'm like, oh man, I would get destroyed in the comments if I said, hey, buy this thing to peel your eggs. Can you even imagine? Right? So, anyways, I thought that was good, but for some of us, those gizmo gadgety things work, and for other of us, they don't. I'm kind of tempted to buy one, just so you know. So we'll see. Okay, let's see. Okay, and then lastly, I do want to talk about this video real quick too. So this was talking about donating at Goodwill. And again, this is where I am not so black and white anymore, because I know, like we all know, when Goodwill made the news and their CEO makes, all this money and whatever. But you know what? Some of the comments I was seeing was like, hey, they were the only ones that would hire my disabled daughter, right? And so again, I don't think we can be so black and white as to say, well, they're doing no good, or, for me, I have to do what is the easiest right now to get clutter out of my home. And if that means going to Goodwill, that's where I'm going to go. If you've had a bad experience there, it does not jive with your beliefs, please don't go there. Find somewhere else to go. I respect that so much. But mostly I was giving you permission to take the path of least resistance right now. But the other thing that was fascinating about that video was how many people commented and said, I work at a thrift store. Thank you for encouraging people to only donate the best of the best, not things that are broken, stained, have blemishes, because they end up throwing that away. Many said like over 50% of the stuff that gets donated, they end up throwing away. And so I am glad to have the opportunity to share that message like on your behalf, to say, hey guys, like let's only bring the best of the donation centers. Let's take up disposing of the other stuff on our own. And again, we have overconsumed for too long. And so we have more stuff than people in the world to use it right now, especially as we continue to promote minimalism and simple living. You don't need that much stuff, right? So we've overconsumed for too long. Donation centers are filling up. Even textile recyclers have plenty. I know some of you had said that, like, hey, bring it to a textile recycler. Many of them have more than enough right now. They're working through their backlog of textiles, and other countries don't want it. that they have gotten enough from us and they don't want us to keep shipping over all of our extra clothing just so we feel better about ourselves and how we've overconsumed, right? So that's what I love about decluttering, is that through this process of decluttering and simplifying our home, there is so much yuck factor in that, right? We're like, why did I buy this? Why did I do this? But it does help us to become better consumers. So we just have to get the stuff out and experience having a highly simplified house. And I really feel like that is what like totally transforms our buying habits and makes it so we don't keep making poor decisions like that. So, okay, let's see. Those are some of the main things that had come up. Yeah, I don't know. I'm telling you, I don't like clickbait. I really don't. It's just hard when you feel like, oh, I put so much work into this video. Like that things I only own one of. Like I tried to set it up so you could see each thing in one of it and all of this, right? And you put a lot of work into a video and then it's like, I know it'll get twice as many views if the title and the thumbnail are just a little bit out there. And so I'm always trying to run that line where I'm not being scummy and just, and I always try to deliver on anything that I say is in the video, but I don't know. Forgive me if I push it too far sometimes. You don't get to go. I wish you could like go to YouTube school and like figure all of this out, right? Okay. Let's see. Okay, real quick, I do want to let you know that, again, we have our Labor Day sale going on right now for Take Your House Back. That is the course that I do with Cass, Dana, and myself. Our whole thing like is wow your family. Get your house decluttered. You feel good about yourself. Your family feels good. Your family is like, wow, look at what you did. They might grumble a little bit in the process, but you get it simplified and they get to experience it. And you stop feeling like such a loser as a mom and a housekeeper and just all the things. And we did a live recently and we were just talking about like the unexpected benefits of decluttering. And we all agreed we could not believe how it boosted our confidence. And that then spilled out into other areas. It wasn't even just our confidence in keeping our home and, cleaning and cooking. That was super cool in and of itself, but our ability to do other things too. I mean, my goodness, Cass is like a firefighter right now, right? But just to pursue the things you've always wanted, to do the things that you've always wanted to, or not do, or to be able on a holiday weekend to literally just sit with a book and an iced coffee and like read and not feel guilty that you should be doing all of these other things. And so what's cool in the course is we talk about like these mindset shifts of like, oh my goodness, you're not going to miss it, you're going to feel empowered, but then the very, very practical of how to get there. And what we know is that if you have a date on the calendar and you have people working alongside of you, that you are going to be 2 to 4 times more productive. I'm making up that statistic, but I fully believe it. And so that's why we started doing our all day declutters a few years ago as well. So throughout the year, we do 3 all day declutters, and the next one is coming up on September 21st. This day, I honestly believe you get 2 to 4 times more done when we're decluttering together than if you were to take that same 8 hours and do it on your own. We guide you, we give you permission, we take you from space to space and tell you what to be looking for, to let go of. It is it's electric, like the energy of thousands of women, mostly women. There might be some men too, but thousands of us from around the world working together. If you have not participated in this, you would not believe how awesome it is. And thank you. I'm seeing comments too from those of you who are like, yes, it's awesome. Join. Like you won't regret it. And again, 365-day money back guarantee because we believe in it so much. You could do all 3 declutters and then ask for your money back. And so you get the all day declutters, but also all of the course content as well. So we have instructional videos explaining the best ways to declutter each area of your home, but then also these live events. We go live every 2 weeks answering questions. You do not have to be on Facebook. It takes place. We do have a Facebook group, which is really dynamic and fun, but you don't have to be a part of that. All the live takes place through private YouTube links. So you're on YouTube right now, right? So I know you know how to use a YouTube link. But if you have just been feeling discouraged, if you're like, wow, tomorrow's September and I somehow still made it through the summer without getting my decluttering goals done, may we please come alongside you? May we help you and motivate you and give you the tools that you need to get it done 2 to 4 times faster? I'm not good at a lot of things, but I do know that the three of us together helping you declutter, we will help you bust through any roadblocks, any physical things that hang you up, energy limitations. Like, this is for you. Bandwidth limitations. Like, Dawn, I couldn't, like, I want to, but I cannot will my body to get up off the couch and go do it, right? We understand that you are definitely not alone. And so this truly is designed for everyone. If you can't join us live or not for every session, then there's always replays available as well. And so oh man, I just want so badly for you to have a highly simplified home, because I don't think you realize how much stress you're carrying around right now, how much all of this clutter is mocking you and putting you down and stealing from your confidence and your sense of self-worth. I just wish you could like have it a totally decluttered house for a day and just see what it feels like, because you would never ever go back. None of this stuff is worth it. So anyways, that's that. There's a link in the description or wherever links should be. And I would just love to see you in there. It's easy. It's all easy to navigate. We're here. You'd be well supported if you have any questions along the way as well. Okay, so enough of that now. Let's answer your questions. What questions do you have? If you put a question mark in front of it, then it's generally a little bit easier for me to grab. I love when you're visiting in the comments too, but I know sometimes I miss the questions in there too. Yeah, I discovered my clutter threshold is minimalism. So that's a term that comes from Dana, from A Slob Comes Clean, the clutter threshold. And what I love is what she says is it's unique to each of us. And that's where I look at it like different seasons. You know, we can handle different amounts of clutter. For most of us, we're trying to manage way too much. So I love that, Robin, that you're like, yeah, had to keep going. Oh yeah, it's like way down here, right? Yeah, you and I both. But you don't have to like want to be a minimalist to be successful like in the course. You get to stop wherever you want to, right? You want more nail polishes or coats or pans or dishes, whatever. Like you get to the point like your clutter threshold. I love that. Let's see. Are you able to let me know the benefits of joining? I'm really working hard on clearing the clutter and minimal living after much loss of loved ones. Oh, I am so sorry to hear that. A book I would highly recommend to you, anyone going through sentimental stuff, parents' estates, whether they're living or past, is Keep the Memories, Lose the Stuff by Matt Paxton. It is so good if you are dealing with the sentimental stuff. But otherwise, the benefits of joining the course is we talk about like Dana's in great depth, Dana's decluttering without making a mess method, how that applies to all the different areas. But then we also, because we go live every 2 weeks and answer questions, we have this archive of Q&As that go like really dive more into specifics. So a lot of people put those on in the background when they're decluttering because they find it very helpful. If you have a question, most others do too. And we spend quite a bit of time on sentimental stuff. We encourage everyone to set up a memory box, and then how do you decide which items go in there? So that's a really good question. What about tools? Have you addressed that, or that's Tom's domain? Gross. You know, here's what I appreciate. Tom has mentioned this a few times, that even he is realizing that he can't manage so much inventory. So, I mean, again, the easiest way to start decluttering that kind of stuff is to look for duplicates. So if we have 4 hammers, and often you don't go down to 1, right? You're like, well, could we do 2? And, if it's not your own stuff, then, we've talked through different tactics for getting your spouse or partner involved and how to work with them. Often using the phrase, can I help you organize, is generally more helpful than can I help you declutter, right? Everyone wants to be more organized. Not everybody wants to declutter, but definitely start by categorizing. So divide up like tools into the different categories. And once you see all of it together, then it's usually easier to pare down because you feel confident. Like, okay, this is literally all of the hammers. We have 6. So could we go down to 2 and pick out the best ones? So I think categorizing is the best place to start with inventory like that. How do I get to the take my house back course. So there should be a link right here in the video description. Let me know if you don't see that though. How do I know when my Take Your House Back expires? So you will always get an email from support@takeyourhouseback.com. Basically, if you can't log in anymore, then it will have expired, or you can email support@takeyourhouseback.com. Let's see. Let's see. Do you donate underwear? If it's in good condition, yes, like pretty much like new, then yes, and if not, then no. Okay, I did answer that one. My mom really wants to declutter and has asked for help in the past because she is overwhelmed. But every time she tries, my dad actively hinders our efforts. How do I help her? Yeah, that's really tricky. So definitely starting with things that are her own. So like her clothing, her sentimental stuff. Even like it depends. Like if she's kind of like does most of the cooking, then like like serving dishes. Maybe you don't want to go straight to pots and pans because your dad might have opinions about that. But holiday serving dishes, table linens. Usually there are categories of stuff that you can find that just don't really impact him. And if you start there, a lot of times what happens is the person that is the hindrance, starts to see like, oh, this does feel better. Oh, we don't miss that stuff. Us, because they probably have a history of like just really worrying about scarcity and just that mindset of like, you don't get rid of anything, like you never know when you might use it. So are there categories of things that you could start with that really have no bearing on his life at all? That would be the best place to start, I would recommend. Oh, this is a good one. I have wasted so much time. I should be done by now. Well, beside maintenance, fatigue, pain, and lots of procrastination. Yeah. I'm told often not to use that word should, right? I could be done by now, but there's a reason that you're not. And fatigue, pain, those are real factors. Those just zap any sense of motivation, energy, want to. So there's nothing wrong with you. One of the most effective things that we have found for that is body doubling. And so that's why we do the all day declutter, the declutters. If you are looking for something more consistent, I don't want to get confusing, but separately, I have my membership group, mentorship group. We do body doubling twice a day, every day in there right now. We just added this through the summer, but it's been so good. So I love the Take Your House Back course. I love the combination of Dana and Cass and I together. I love the shot in the arm of these all day declutter events. If you know yourself and you really need something very consistent, then our membership group provides that. It's $15 a month. I really try to keep it affordable. But every single day in there, we have live body doubling. I'm in there daily, almost daily, showing different things, answering questions, talking through different tactics. So that is a very steady source of encouragement and motivation, but probably you can't do it alone. And we try to do it alone, but if that has not been working, let's look at the data. Okay, this has not worked. I might need just a little bit more help. There is nothing wrong with that, right? And then you get your house decluttered and then you quit and then you go on with life, right? So, yeah. So I don't have a link for that right now. I'll make sure it gets into the description as well. Hi from France. Hello, Carol. What can be done in a single day on the decluttering day? One room, two more. Yeah, it kind of depends where you're starting at. If you're at the very beginning, I think you could get one room fully decluttered. If you are further along the path, we're going to be, the first 3 hours are going to be in master bedrooms. We're going to go through like stuff on the flat surfaces, piles on the floor, clothing. And then the last 3 hours, we're doing like Dana's doing piles of doom. I'm doing a quick and dirty toy declutter. And then Cass is doing trash bag therapy, where she literally takes you around the house and gives you commands for things to look for. And so you decide what room you want to work in. But if you're further along, you could work in a couple spaces and make really good progress, I believe, from what others have done. What do you do with a quilt handmade by a friend that doesn't match any of my decor that has been folded in a closet for 3 years? Yeah, Julie, that's a really good question. So on the video that we were doing with, that I did with my sister upstairs in my parents' house, we actually came across a couple quilts. So 3 of them were sentimental, made by a neighbor friend of my grandparents. They were special. My parents gave them to us as gifts. So we decided to keep those. So I put them in those canvas zip around bags you can get off Amazon, and we are storing them. I also came across a little quilt that was made by my friend. That was more of like a wall hanging or put on the back of a couch, that kind of thing. I had forgotten all about it. It had just been in storage. I have nowhere to display it or put it out. And so I decided just to donate it. Just understanding my limitations with managing inventory and how I want my house to feel, it wasn't conducive with that. And it wasn't so special that I would put it in my memory bin or, like the others, find a way to keep it. So it really comes down to how special is it? Is it so special that you want to find a way to store it or display it and you want to continue to manage it? Or is it, you can look back at the data and be like, it's just a burden. It doesn't bring any joy to my life. And so therefore I want to let it go. All right. I have a very hard time having hubby on board. Yep. He buys things, uses once or twice, and then ends up being stored in the garage and doesn't want to even let go of. How can I persuade him? Great question. So 3 parts. 1, you do your stuff and model it. Let them start to experience some simplicity and peace in your areas that you get to manage. 2, start talking about the benefits, what you're learning about clutter and living more simply, how your closet feels, why you're doing what you're doing. And then 3, offer to help organize. So, you know, it's tricky. This takes time. Like for us, this was a 5-year process, right? And so you can't really like skip past any of the steps, I don't feel like. But I do feel like offering to help organize, it maybe takes away a little of the shame. He probably doesn't feel great about all the things he's buying. He might not even understand why he is, right? You're learning more about it now, so you're starting to see like, hey, what are you doing? But just saying like, hey, why don't we spend a little time, this holiday weekend or this weekend coming up, and I'd love to help you organize the garage. I don't expect you to be able to do it on your own. Like that's a lot of inventory to manage. I'm more than happy to help you, but doing it in a positive way and not, oh my gosh, why do you keep buying all this crap? And now, I can't even hardly walk out through the garage, let alone park a vehicle in there, right? And so if we stay positive about it, we share what we're learning, offer to help organize, those are generally the things that we hear are most effective. So it takes time though. It does take time. I hate that. I want it to go faster. Oh, thank you, Mariah. Don, one of your videos doesn't totally resonate with me. Very rare. I just smile and think about all the effort and creativity you pour into your business and your encouragement to us. Thank you. It's hard because I get these ideas in my head, and then I really try to like execute it and make it come together, like, in the form of a video. And so often by the time it's done and edited, I'm like, it just like didn't fully like get there. Right. Or I'm like, I would have done this differently, or why didn't I do this different? And so, but we have an 80% rule, and it's like, if it is 80% good enough, you put it out and you keep moving forward. Right. So thank you. I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate that. Let's see. Yes, when we join, how can we tell if we went through? Are we sent a notification? Yeah, you should get an email right away from support at takeyourhouseback.com. So help with stopping the acquiring habit. Yeah. So a few things we talk about, I really tried not to go into stores anymore. I do store pickup whenever possible. If you're online shopping, putting it in the cart and having a waiting period. We really try now, like with Amazon, to like the kids have 2 shopping days a month, whether it's Amazon or something else. And that's helped. Or to only use Amazon delivery day, not do 1 day or 2 day, like try to like make it so you have to wait a little bit more. But also I do feel that through the decluttering process, you do start to develop an aversion to buying and reacquiring things. So I would encourage you also just to really keep working on decluttering and simplifying. And I think that starts to work out some of our buying habits too. Oh yeah, don't do the 199 a month through YouTube. That is just a YouTube thing. That's more for people that just want to like support our channel. So I should have mentioned that. If you've accidentally done the like subscribe here on YouTube and it's $1.99 and all that, you can just shoot me an email at support@theminimalmom.com and we'll help you get that worked out. Yeah, so for our membership group, it is $15 a month. And the price, even like we're gonna raise the price again in the new year. Your price will never go up. You'll be grandfathered in at that price. So yes, I really you'll get $15 of benefit in like 2 days out of it. Like I just try to keep it affordable, practical. I just want to help you get your house decluttered and I don't want that to be a barrier to it. We also offer scholarships. So, I mean, I'm telling you, like I want so badly to help you get your house decluttered. Yeah, expert stuff shuffler, where do I start? You know, see, this is where I feel like being part of something like Take Your House Back or our mentorship group and bringing others into it, because it's really helpful to see like what other people are getting rid of. Like right now we're going through laundry rooms in our membership group. And so everyone is talking about, hey, it's okay to let go of the stain removers that didn't work or that thing that has been living at the bottom of your hamper. You have permission to let go of. I mean, we were like, I've been working at my mom's house. We're like getting rid of mops that she's not using. She's like, I don't mop, right? And extra rags that she doesn't need. And so we're just constantly saying, like, because what you need to get stuff out and not move it around anymore, right? So we're constantly giving permission and examples and talking about why and why those things are no longer adding benefit when your brain is saying, you paid money for it, you got to keep it. Like, why would you get rid of something that's perfectly good, right? And then we're like, no, no, like, because it's too much. Like, it's too much to manage, right? So that's right. That's the benefit of bringing in community around it. I know we often think like, oh, I got myself into this mess, I need to get myself out, right? But it's not true. Like we thrive when we do this together in community. And man, it really peels off the layers of shame and guilt when you see that other women are in the exact same place and have made the exact same purchases, right, that you have. Erica says, my friends want to have a baby shower for me, baby number 3, but I'm decluttering. I have limited space and I don't need more baby stuff or a stockpile of diapers. How do I even? Wow. I would just ask for a gift card shower and just be very honest and say, we're really embracing a simpler lifestyle. I feel so fortunate that I have all the baby gizmos and gear that I need. You don't need to bring anything, but if you want to bless us, a gift card to one of these places would be appreciated. And, some are like, oh, that's tacky or whatever. I don't. A lot of people, I'm just really grateful when people are honest about what they want. And I would rather bring a gift card anyways because it's easier, right? But if someone tells me and is honest about like specifically what they need, I'm so happy to like indulge that and do that for them. So, and most people understand these days that, especially by baby 3, you don't actually need more stuff. So, I'm watching old videos. Do you still use your porch? Not even a little bit. There's my rocking chair is still there. I can't even tell you the last time I sat on there, but it looks cute when people drive into the yard. So there's that. And I'm still totally glad that we did it because I love how it looks. Like, I think it looks great, but that's awesome. I have a medium-sized tote of birthday, wedding, Christmas cards, and other special notes. I think I would like to reduce the cards to only the most special, but not sure how. Yeah. So here's what I would do, Alicia. I would have a for sure keep pile, a maybe pile, and then a for sure go. And what's so great about this is that if you sort your whole tote into these 3, by the time you get done, most often the maybe pile you're okay getting rid of because you have enough on the keep. So it really brings a lot of clarity to how much inventory is in each category. Or if you're like, oh, I don't have so many in the like for sure keep, I'm going to pull over some more from the maybe pile, then you feel confidently doing that. But I feel like, and this works for all sentimental items, I feel like this helps us get over the hump by having that maybe pile. You don't have to make like definitive decisions right now, which I think is good for sentimental stuff because that's not replaceable. Kitchen stuff, clothing, whatever, if you make a mistake, you can go get it again, but not with sentimental stuff. So I think that maybe category is actually very important when you're going through sentimental stuff. Messy son in his bedroom, where to start? It kind of depends how old he is, but I tell you what, most kids actually don't mind mom coming in and making a pass, looking for garbage, pulling out the dirty dishes. getting rid of clothing that doesn't fit. So it really depends. Like, are they the type who are like, don't touch my stuff, mom? Or if you say, I'm not going to throw away anything without your permission, like you can look through the bag or box or whatever, but I'm going to go in, straighten things up, get the floor cleared up. It usually feels more manageable. And then you can also say like, okay, now this stuff I don't know. So I'm just going to be your helper. Like you tell me, go, you have permission to get rid of anything. If you want to keep stuff, let's find a special spot for it or some kind of container. But really, just not being judgy, not, giving them a hard time, but just saying, hey, I have so much value for having a clean and tidy room now. I want you to have that too. What can I do to help you? And I do think it actually works for all ages. I can go into our kids' rooms now and totally clean them up. I don't like often, but sometimes I'm like, I feel like it's to an overwhelming point for them. I'm going to help them get it back to square one. I mean, well, you've seen the boys' room, right? They're totally fine with it. How do we join the membership group? If you go to theminimalmom.com, right along the top, there's a link for it, but then I'll get a link in here for the replay as well. Do you see this as a lifelong career? I've greatly enjoyed the 4 years I've been a part of the journey. Thank you so much, John. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I couldn't imagine quitting now. I think I've never been more convinced of the correlation between mental health and our physical environments. And the more I learn, the more I hear from other women, help them see the benefits. Like, I just feel like, man, we're just getting started. Like, we really have to get this message out there even more. So as of right now, no plans to quit. Oh my gosh, I feel so fortunate. I still like look around and I'm like, how how did I get here? What? Like, I am the quiet farm girl from Minnesota who like never in a million years ever would have thought this would be my reality. So it all feels like such a dream still at times of like, I'm just going to wake up and everything will be gone and like no one will be watching me. And you know what? It'll be fine. And I will have thoroughly enjoyed what had happened. But I know there was a question too. I think I missed it. And it said, can you give a quick background? Like, I just started following you. So yeah, so for those who have followed for many years, you've probably pieced all this together, but I was born an identical twin in September of 1982. So we'll celebrate our 42nd birthday here coming up in a few weeks. We grew up on a farm, and both my parents farmed full time, but also they each worked full time as well to make ends meet. And then beyond that, I mean, my mom, she's probably watching right now. She would often have side jobs. It was not uncommon for her to go out in the evenings and do bookkeeping for different companies for extra money. Hardest to working people I know. But what I can fully appreciate now looking back, even I actually just told my dad this yesterday. We were down at the shop at his farm. They live just a mile down the road. Now we're really lucky. But there was someone down there working and they were grumbling about the age of the thing that they were working on. And I just thought about it later and I told my dad this. I'm like, I never hear you complain about anything. And he could have complained about so many things, and my mom too, over the years, about the old cars that we drove and breaking down and not having enough money for things. And they never did. They never drew attention to the fact that others had nicer and better and newer, and we didn't. And they were just literally trying to make ends meet most of our childhood. Never drew attention to that. And I'm so grateful for that. So we lived on a farm. My parents still live on the same farm that we grew up on. And then now we've gotten to buy a little farm, a mile down the road. And I'm so glad for that. I'm glad. I mean, we intentionally, so Tom and I met, we lived about an hour and a half away, and we did intentionally move back to be closer and all of that. But man, like if you've had grandparents close by when you're raising your kids, I mean, is there any greater gift than that? And then especially when they are kind and loving and supportive. I mean, I was just thinking about this too this morning. I don't even know what made me think about it, but I was in my mid 20s, early 20s, I don't know, before I learned that not every child grows up feeling loved. That people, feel criticized by their parents or put down or shamed or not loved. That rocked my world. I was like, what? And we might not have had the newest toys or brand name clothes. Never for 1 second did I ever doubt that I was loved. And so again, even if you're a parent now and you're like, I would love to buy my kids this or that, if they feel loved, oh my goodness, don't worry. The rest is all character development. My mom will apologize to us now. Um, we've shared a little bit. She had a kidney transplant. It was the summer between our senior year and going into college. And so she was on dialysis for a few years during our high school years, which was like, it was hard. I mean, gosh, she did not complain. But, we picked up extra slack around the house and we cooked and we cleaned. And she will apologize about that for us not having all the things that our friends had. And I'm like, oh my gosh, mom, like, don't take that away from us, right? Like, that has made us who we are today. And so, if you're a parent, it is not about the brand name stuff, right? And that, but I know, we have kids, right? We have 4 kids now, 9 through 14. I want all those things for them. I want them to have them. I want them to feel like they fit in and they're cool and have the things we didn't have. And I have to temper it at times too, because I know it's not what's most important, obviously. And so finding that line of like, okay, I want you to have some of the stuff, but not all the stuff, right? So we're constantly trying to navigate that too. But yeah, but also we grew up in a messy house. Again, because my mom couldn't do it all. Like there simply were not enough hours in the day. And so I mean, I kind of wish she would have known about minimalism. Like we didn't have tons of extra, but our house is small. And so often it just felt messy, right? Um, and so as I got older and we started having kids and I still was struggling to stay on top of our house, that's when, I discovered minimalism and just realized like, oh, wow, it's so much easier when you don't have so much stuff to manage. And I really enjoyed being a mom more too when we didn't have so much, and I didn't feel like I was so bad at it. I felt like such a loser. Tom comes from his mom is like just so good at like household management. So he came from a house that was clean, and his mom cooked dinner every night. My mom's not joking. She's been in our membership group lately. She's like, I don't cook, I don't clean, right? And we're like, it's okay, like it's fine. But then he didn't say things. I put this expectation on myself of like, oh, I'm not doing things like his mom, like I'm such a loser, right? And so anyways, I just know how we beat ourselves up. So I'm a messy person. I grew up in a messy house, but I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. Like I wouldn't want to change anything about any of that, because it's who I am today, and that's what makes us, right? So anyways, that's how I don't know. There's a lot of gaps in there. So my twin sister Diana, she lives about 25 minutes away from us now. We wish she lived a little closer. We don't get to see her and the kids. They have 4 kids now, quite as much as we would like, but it's fine. And then we have a brother who is 2 years younger that lives with my parents, farms with my parents, helps run their businesses now that they run off of the farm. And they're so successful now, and it's such like I got to see throughout my childhood and now how they've had to start over a couple times. They've worked hard and they just treated people well, and how they've come out on top. And so I'm so grateful for that and what I've learned from them. And I do think that's a big part of who I am today, and how sometimes I feel like it does let me let go of stuff more easily, because I'm just like, it doesn't matter. Like I didn't need it when I was growing up. I don't need it now. And it's just really not the most important thing. So, and you've maybe seen, we've gotten to go on a couple missions trips to Mexico, and I mean, man, if that doesn't just break your heart open and make you come back being like, what are we doing, right? None of this actually matters. And you're actually going to hear, I'm going to share an update on Dorothy's house coming up for around our birthday. We're going to see if we can maybe raise a little extra money for Dorothy's house too. I think that would be fun. So I'm trying not to like confuse this whole thing with like too many things going on. So I will for sure share more details about that coming up. You will not be able to miss it. I'll make sure you know about it. But mostly, my goodness, let's get our houses decluttered so we can do the thing that we were put on the earth to do, because it wasn't to manage stuff, right? It wasn't to feel like losers in our own house. Like we each have a people group that we are called to, and it's our neighbors and it's our friends, and it's, for some of us it's youth, and for some of us it's helping women out of trafficking like Dorothy. I love, like, we have such a heart for fostering and just all those things, right? Like chances are there's a group that you're like, yeah, if I had some extra time, I would really like to help, these people, or do this, or learn this, or go back to school, or all of that. So whatever we can do to get this stuff out. And if I can come alongside and help you through one of the things I've talked about today, may I please do that. And if you're good watching the YouTube videos and that inspires you and it is enough, then so be it. Like, that's awesome too. I love it. And I love seeing your comments and the work you've been doing. I'm so proud of you. It changes everything. It changes everything. You will never want any of this stuff back. And so I'm really excited for you. Like the best is yet to come, and it just keeps getting better and better. Awesome. Well, it has been so good to get to spend this time with you today. Thank you. I I'm gonna start crying if I really start thanking you too much. I'm so grateful for you. So grateful. New friends, those of you who have been around since I was decluttering toys and the kids were so little, and oh my goodness, like what a ride. I am so grateful for you. Like your kindness, even the negative comments or what I feel misunderstood doesn't matter. Doesn't even matter in the least, because I know I have so many friends behind me and cheering me on and supporting what we do. So thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. Well, I hope you have an awesome holiday weekend. I hope I get to spend, Saturday, September 21st with you for the all day declutter. But if not, I will just keep seeing you here on YouTube as well. All right. I love you. I hope you have a really good day, and I will see you again soon.